You feel it every day, even when you don't notice it. The quiet discomfort, the subtle clinging, the tension beneath the surface of things. You sense that something is shifting. That things might not stay the same. And somewhere deep down, that unsettles you. This is the fear of impermanence. The fear of change, of loss, of death, the reality that everything you know, love, build, and hold close will eventually slip away. It's one of the most ancient fears you carry. And yet, it's also the doorway to something deeper. You weren't born afraid of change. But very early in life, you began to understand that things don't last. Maybe it was the first time your favorite toy broke. Or when someone close to you moved away. Or the moment you realized that people, even the ones you love, can disappear forever. From that moment on, a silent contract was written: hold on tightly. Don't let things go. Avoid change. Resist endings. But life kept moving. You grew older. People came and left. Chapters opened and closed. And no matter how hard you tried to control it, the world kept spinning, faster than your grip could hold. Impermanence isn't just a spiritual idea. It's the rule of reality. Everything flows. Nothing stays. Every atom, every emotion, every relationship, every breath, it's all in motion. And the fear this creates isn't weakness. It's ancient. It's survival. Your ancestors didn't survive by accepting death. They survived by clinging to life. But today, that same instinct makes you suffer. You fear endings so much that you miss the middle. You fear change so much that you reject the next step, even when you've outgrown the last. You fear losing people, so you hold them too tightly. You fear losing yourself, so you never really let yourself grow. And it makes sense. Because change is uncomfortable. Uncertainty is hard. Death feels impossible to understand. But here's the truth: the fear of impermanence is not a curse. It's a message. It's trying to show you what matters. Look at the world today. Technology is changing faster than you can keep up. Relationships feel more temporary. News cycles burn and vanish in hours. Even your sense of identity gets reshaped constantly by everything you consume online. There's a constant whisper, nothing is stable. Nothing lasts. And it's overwhelming. That whisper makes you want to numb out, to scroll endlessly, to control something, anything, to ground yourself again. But the paradox is this: the more you resist impermanence, the more you suffer. The more you deny change, the more lost you feel when it finally comes. This is why impermanence is at the root of so much suffering. Not because things change, but because you're afraid they do. You resist letting go. So your grief lasts longer. You deny the signs. So endings hit harder. You avoid risk. So life stays smaller. But here's the deeper truth. If you could see impermanence clearly, if you stopped running from it and started facing it, everything could change. You would stop clinging to things that no longer nourish you. You would begin to say what you need to say, before the chance is gone. You would start to live with presence, because you'd know nothing is guaranteed. Philosophers across centuries have seen impermanence not as a punishment, but as a teacher. Heraclitus said, "Everything flows." The Buddha taught that clinging to the illusion of permanence is the root of suffering. This isn't just poetic, it's practical. If you've ever lost someone, you know how it cuts. But you also know that the moments you shared were precious precisely because they ended. If you've ever moved cities or left a job or grown out of an old identity, you know how scary that step is. But you also know that new growth only happened because something else fell away. You've lived this. You've experienced both the ache and the opening that change brings. So why do you still resist it? Because you're human. And humans crave safety, stability, continuity. You want the world to stay still just long enough for you to catch your breath. You want people to stay the same so you can rely on them. You want your body to freeze at its peak. Your success to last. Your peace to be permanent. But none of it is. And if you wait for that stability, you'll never be free. Freedom doesn't come from things staying the same. It comes from learning to dance with change, instead of fighting it. It comes from realizing that loss doesn't erase love, it clarifies it. It comes from seeing that death doesn't make life meaningless, it makes it urgent. So how do you begin to shift your relationship with impermanence? Not by pretending it doesn't hurt. Not by suppressing your fear. But by meeting it, fully and honestly. You start by noticing how often you try to hold on. When you scroll through old photos and ache for the past, pause and breathe. When you avoid making a big decision because you're scared of the outcome, pause and ask what you're really afraid to lose. When you catch yourself wishing things could just go back to normal, pause and ask what normal is costing you. Then, one step at a time, you practice loosening your grip. You practice gratitude, not for what's permanent, but for what's here now. You practice presence, not because it's easy, but because it's the only place life exists. You practice courage, not to conquer death, but to live more fully before it comes. None of this makes impermanence easier. It will still hurt. Loss will still shake you. Change will still stretch you. But when you stop resisting, you create space for something else. Space for beauty. Because when you know nothing lasts, you start to notice everything. Space for truth. Because when you stop lying to yourself about control, you begin to live with honesty. Space for love. Because when you stop clinging, you can finally hold someone with open hands. This is what it means to embrace impermanence. Not to love the pain, but to stop turning away from it. Not to chase stability, but to find peace in motion. Not to escape death, but to let it teach you how to live. Right now, you're already changing. You're not the person you were yesterday. Your body is shifting. Your mind is evolving. Your life is unfolding in real time. You don't have to fear that. You don't have to run from it. You can meet impermanence with eyes open, heart steady, breath calm. Because you are not separate from the flow. You are the flow. You are the breath that rises and falls. You are the wave that crashes and recedes. You are the story that keeps being written, even when old chapters end. And when you live like that, fear loses its grip. Not because the world stops changing, but because you stop needing it to. That is the power of impermanence. And it's yours, now.